Asteroid City. So I heard a lot of noise about this movie, mainly because it has such a crazy cast of like A-list Hollywood actors. There's so many like top tier people that you would never really see in one production at once. But when I look at the reviews for this movie online, let's just say they're mixed at best. The critics kind of like this movie. They gave it like a 7.1 on IMDb, but the people, not so much. When I looked at Google reviews, which may not be the most reliable or the most reputable place to look, some of the reviews on there are bloody hilarious, bro. I've never seen so many 1 out of 5 stars on anything, and reading them was hilarious. Anyway, I decided to watch the movie, and if there was one word I would use to describe this movie, is it is confusion. Although I kind of enjoyed it and it was a fun experience to watch, I feel like to get like the full experience, to get like the full value of this movie, I would have to dissect this movie like playing a game of Operation to actually understand what the fuck is going on. I think the main reason for that initially is just the structure. Like, it's a very weird format. It's not like your typical movie format. The whole concept of this movie that is that it's a play, but in movie form, and then they kind of break the fourth wall by showing you like this omniscient narrator, which is Heisenberg, Bryan Cranston, and then they also show you like the writer and like the director, and it's kind of just weird. It's like it starts off with him writing the play, but it doesn't really interject between it. Like the play feels real, but then they just kind of cut here and cut there, and it's very weird. The structure doesn't really make much sense, and it's very, very confusing. What I will say is they did kind of capture the humor of like a theater play. Like, I've been to a few, some not very good ones, and it was very kind of theater humor. Not my cup of tea. There were a few funny moments, but the guy that was sitting next to me in the cinema, brother was having the time of his life. The comedic slapstick was slapping him in the face. Bro was laughing at every single joke. He was having a good time. So maybe it just wasn't marketed at me. Maybe this movie wasn't made for me. It probably wasn't. I mean, for some people, it'd be really funny. I will say though, with the length of this movie, it does feel a little dragged out. It's like a 2 hour movie. I feel like they could have easily cut 15, 20 minutes of it and it would still be just as good. I feel like they wanted to give each actor a little bit of screen time and lines, and that just led to the movie being a bit bloated. Like, I feel like it does stall a little bit kind of in the middle, and we could maybe hurry it up a little bit to make it a bit more of an entertaining movie. I think it's pretty entertaining. Like, it's not reality levels of I was sitting there on my phone bored, because I wasn't in this movie. I was pretty entertained throughout, but the length could be a bit shorter in my opinion. I'll talk quickly about the cast. I think the cast was pretty good. It's so fun to see so many like A-list actors or actors you recognize in one movie, especially some very kind of obscure movie. Like, I probably would have never seen this if it wasn't for the crazy cast that I was seeing. And I think all of them do a pretty good job. All the characters are very weird, and I think all the actors do a good job as expected. Like, there is no awful performances. The one actor that kind of took me by surprise to be in this movie was the guy who plays Flash Thompson from the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. Like, I was like, what's bro doing here? I've never seen him in any other movie than Spider-Man, where he's just shouting Penis Parker at the girl's party when he's the DJ. Or he's Spider-Man's best friend, and then he's just here. He has like 5 lines. It's pretty hilarious. Didn't expect to see him. Let's talk about the plot and characters, because I feel like this is the biggest problem with this movie. Is it doesn't really feel like there is no character development. There's literally nothing. They don't really give you any background on anyone that isn't the main two characters. The photographer guy and Scarlett Johansson's character, like, they have a little bit of backstory, but it's not enough to kind of make you feel connected to the characters. And they've got so many characters, it's kind of just like, how can they develop all of them? Like I said this, I remember saying this in my Bleach review. It's just like, when you have too many characters, you can never really get a connection to each one, because each of them need to have screen time, and each of them need to have lines, and need to have some place in the story. And I feel like there was just so much going on in this. There was just so many characters that it's hard to like discern what's going on, and you don't feel a connection to any of them. Like, some of them are actually genuinely funny, but like I said, they're not really explored or given that screen time to kind of move their characters to a next level. Like, I can't even remember the names of most of the characters, which in itself says quite a lot. When it comes to the plot is really confusing. It doesn't really make sense, and I think that's probably kind of the point. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I can give you like the outline of the plot, because it initially seems like these guys break down in Asteroid City and their car doesn't work, but it turns out the sun was there to do some weird science project thing where the most genius kids from the country come and show off their science invention. And then just an alien comes and steals a meteorite. Like, what the fuck's going on, bro? And then they're like burying their mom's ashes in the sand. I'm so confused at what the fuck is going on. It doesn't really have a story. It's just kind of this weird movie. I guess it's meant to be some kind of commentary on something, but after watching it once, I'm not understanding what the fuck is going on. But a few good things I will say about it is I do like the 1950s aesthetics. I do like movies set in that time period. It's in the desert. It's nice and bright colors. Like, it's nice to look at for the most part. And I think the theme is cool. I saw some people shitting on it, saying that there's too many typical movies set in this time period, but I kind of liked it. And like I said, at least it's not boring. The minimum for a movie is that it's not boring. Because if you're sitting there bored out of your mind, there's nothing worse. Like, I'd rather watch an absolute terrible movie that's not boring, right? Overall, I'd probably give this movie like a 65 out of 100. It's like a 6.5 out of 10, I would think. Like, it's got a lot of problems, and I'd probably watch many other movies before I rewatch this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not awful, and it does offer like somewhat unique of an experience. And I wouldn't be disappointed if like someone made me rewatch it again. But it's kind of like the pineapple pizza situation. Like, I won't seek it out. If someone gives me pineapple pizza, I'll probably eat it, but I'm not gonna go buy it for myself and order it from Pizza Hut myself. You know, and that's kind of how I see Asteroid City: pineapple on pizza. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.